Well, hello, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream, and I'm going to do your August the 29th spiritual principle a day in a meditation. I am recording it on my clean date, August the 28th, because I plan to be on the highway. And I just want to make sure that I treat you extra special this week and make sure that I get it done for you in advance. How is your day going? I hope it's good. All right, August 29th. The title of the spiritual principle a day meditation is Hope in Darkness and in Light. We find hope again and again as our journey continues. In the dark moments when we realize we can go on anyway, and in our triumphs, it is possible. That's coming from the Living Clean book, chapter 7, Living Our Principles. The first bit of hope we experienced in NA came from a place of defeat. Using drugs hadn't worked for us. Our grand experiment of solving our living problems with mind and mood altering substances was a profound failure. In that dark place, though, a ray of light shone through. We could find a way out of addiction and into recovery. Once we have been clean for a while, many of our hopes come from more positive places. We think about how much more we can accomplish with our career goals, our creative endeavors, our loving relationships. Maybe we want to sponsor more addicts or try out new service positions. Having hope for the good things that will come our way is great. But we would do well to remember how much more precious hope can be when we have very little of it. We are bound to experience tremendous disappointments when we stay clean for years and decades, some of which rattle us to our very core. We bury parents, children, siblings, and spouses, and lots of fellow addicts. We lose jobs and relationships. We make terrible mistakes and hurt people we love. Guilt, shame, and loneliness take up so much space in the room that it's hard to make any space for hope, even when it is what we most desperately need. Hope is why we must stay in the practice of going to meetings, sharing, calling our sponsor, reading literature, and talking to other addicts when life is going well for us. We get to see clean addicts find their way through incredible difficulties by showing up, no matter how fragile or broken, and putting themselves in the position to receive some hope. When we find ourselves there, fragile or broken, we think of the others we have seen walk through it, and we know it can be done. We must go on. Together, we can. I will pay attention to members going through the unthinkable and do my best to offer them hope. If I am one of those members, I will go where I know I can find hope to an NA meeting. Ooh, that's an amazing meditation. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the wee version of Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. Isn't that a beautiful meditation? I'm taping in the hotel room in Alabama, Sweet Home, Alabama. And do you know the boys are saying the serenity prayer along with me? My family, we have grown together for these last 9 years in recovery. Like I've been here 30 years as of today, uh, but 9 years with my full family, the boys and my husband and I. And they know as much about recovery as I do. And they will tell you their age is how long they've been clean. Isn't that beautiful? And I think that they will forever stay that way. They both have vowed to never touch any substance that is mind or mood altering. You know, they've seen a lot of damage, right? So today we're talking about this very thing, hope in darkness and in light. And I just believe that, yeah, when things are going great, it's clear that I'm hopeful, that I'm happy. I'm excited. Hey, right? I'm excited about living life when things are going great. But what about when they're not going great? What about in darkness? What about when we are burying our loved ones? What happens when we have to bury our parents, our children? I know some people in recovery this year alone have had to bury their children, their siblings. And for me, I think that is an awful loss. The people that you grow up with, sleep in the same bedrooms with, share dinner tables with, your siblings, to lose a sibling, that's a very deep, deep loss. Just as losing a child is. And I don't think death is something that we ever adjust to. What about a spouse? You know, and fellow addicts. I was just thinking about the many addicts that we have sat in the room since the pandemic and we've lost them. And there's some that we haven't given a proper burial. We haven't had a proper service for them. We know that we lost them, but at that time the drive-by. Can you imagine having a drive-by funeral where the funeral home or the church puts up big TVs out in the parking lot and you can drive by, almost like a drive-in movie, and sit and watch a service being conducted with literally 3 or 4 people in the room. We did that for my brother, and we've done it for some of our loved ones in the rooms. We have lost many people, and so we managed to have hope during the great times. It's obvious, but what about in those dark times like that? That's truly when hope is the most valuable. And that's when, no matter what, we have to get to a meeting. We have to allow ourselves to take a few text messages, make a few phone calls. We need to make ourselves available to receive the hope, the therapeutic value that's without parallel that comes from one addict helping another. If you don't make yourself available, it's going to be very difficult for you to receive it. So today I want you to think about that. Having hope in darkness and in the light. In the light seems so obvious. But when you have that light and things are good and things are okay and the bills are paid and everybody's all right, that's the time to be pouring into our reservoir of recovery, our reservoir of hope. That's the time when we might want to go an extra mile with some other individual in recovery that's new to this. That's the time that we're not getting a lot of resistance and it's easier to do a little bit extra, to do a little more service, so that when things come up in our lives, now, I'm going for this master's and I totally plan to ace this, this state exam, right? But what if I don't? Am I going to pick up over it? No, I'll wait my 6 months and take it again. And I'll keep taking it until I pass it, if that were to happen. But I consider the season that I'm going through of pursuing this dream, it hasn't been great. There's been a lot of darkness, a lot of needs or wants even not being met, a lot of things I've had to say no to, and a lot of people I've had to say no to. Some people I've had to hurt their feelings saying no, or I can't do that. I'm not available now. There's been some dark days pursuing this dream. but I have hope because I remember all the time of doing service and all the joys that I experienced in fellowshipping with others. And so during the good times, we need to build ourselves up so we have something to pull from, have some hope to pull in the times of darkness. So I want to make sure that you do that today and make sure that you're paying attention to other people that might not have that hope. Be there for them. And if you're the person that needs the hope, put yourself in a position where you can actually receive it. You got to pick up the phone sometime. You got to show up at a meeting sometime. You got to reach out sometime. Especially after the pandemic, very few people are just showing up at people's homes doing 12-step calls. So if you need some help today, my prayer is that you're going to allow yourself to reach out so that you can get the hope that you need. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose. Talk to you soon.